You want to be certain to stick to the sizing guidelines listed here for most of your basic applications. This is a unit we're trying to get saturation of H2O2 molecules between 0.02 and 0.04 parts per million in the conditioned space. Oversizing these units is not recommended, as too many H2O2 molecules in the space can create a kind of hydrogen peroxide smell. When kept at levels between 0.02 and 0.4 parts per million, you should just be left with the smell of fresh air. If you're dealing with a system or setup that has a especially high number of odors in the air, say a fish market, a nail salon, or a smoking bar with a huge number of odors, you'll need to use a larger unit to try to overcome it. RGF can help you make recommendations based on the application for the sizing of the units on these tough kind of jobs if you contact our office. These sizing charts were also designed with your typical on-off automatic air conditioning system in mind. With the rise of the newer variable speed systems, which will run constantly throughout the day at a much lower rate of fan speed, we developed a new unit for it, the Guardian Air PHI 118 VSF, which stands for Variable Speed Fan. This is designed to put out a smaller concentration of oxidizers over a constant period to get you the saturation levels between 0.02 and 0.04 with a variable speed system. It's also great for apartments, condos, or any small system between 500 and 2000 CFM. REMI technology currently comes in two separate sizes, a 0 to 6500 CFM and a 6500 to 10,000 CFM rating. Just like the PHI systems, if you're dealing with a job that is 40,000 CFM, you can just add units to total up to the 40,000 CFM you need. In this case, 4 of the HVAC 305HO. Also like the PHI system, if you are dealing with high load application, like a smoker's bar or casino, you may need to up the size of the REMI unit to overcome the extra load of pollutants in the air. We're going to talk a little bit now about some of our more specialty products. You may or may not find applications for these, but remember, the concept is to get the oxidizers into the airstream at a level of around 0.02 to 0.04 parts per million. And sometimes when a duct-mounted probe isn't necessarily the best fit, these products may be exactly what you need. Your wholesalers may or may not stock these. However, we always have them available for special order through your wholesale contacts. In case you've got an air system like a PTAC unit or a boat or mobile home air conditioner that doesn't necessarily have the 5 to 9 inches of duct clearance for one of the PHI models, we've developed the Guardian Air Mini. The Mini mounts flush inside of a PTAC or other system, and as long as air passes over the top of it and it's installed in the way that the UV light isn't visible, it can be a great product to do for any of those tight fit applications. The size limitation is really one room, no bigger than 1,000 square feet or so. We've successfully installed them in hotel PTAC units, in boats, in mobile homes, or in any application where space is at a premium. A quick word about using these in PTAC units. Many times it's the perfect product for it, but the installation is so labor intensive as to make the entire project cost inefficient. If you were going to install one of these, even though the unit was inexpensive, if the labor was 4 to 5 hours per install and you were doing 35 rooms in a hotel room, you can quickly see how the price of a project like that would spiral out of control. If you were into a situation like that, the next product is a better fit for doing those one-room type applications. This unit here is our Plug-in Plus. Inside of the Plug-in Plus is a 5-inch PHI cell and a small fan to move a little bit of air around the room that it's installed in. It plugs into an outlet taking up both plugs, but as you can see in the picture here, gives you 2 plugs back on the side of the unit. The coverage for the plug-in is limited to one room that it's installed in. Even though it can do a room a maximum size of 1,000 square feet, it doesn't have the fan power to do a number of 200 square foot rooms next to each other. It doesn't move air that efficiently. It's always better to install a duct-mounted unit treating an entire house with just one system, but for assisted living facilities with individual rooms, hydronic heating or wet heat applications, hotel rooms where PTAC installation isn't feasible, the plug-in can get you the purification power you need in those tight spaces as long as you put one per room per 1,000 square feet. The plug-in has 3 modes of operation: high, which is light and fan; low for smaller rooms, which is just light and convection air; and off for applications like a assisted living facility where maybe you don't have a patient in the room and you can turn it off entirely. Now, if you take the concept of purification through oxidizers being blown into and coming into contact with microbes and gases, and you put them into a unit like our Guardian Air Ice, it allows you to take care of some really interesting applications. The unit shown here has a 9-inch PHI cell inside of it, and a 45 CFM fan mounted on top. That fan is going to draw air in over the PHI cell and push it out the two small outputs listed on the bottom that are 3/4 inch each. Because you've got such a small amount of air going over a 9-inch PHI cell, we're moving high concentration of these oxidizers. And you can hook up 3/4 inch hoses and run them into an ice machine. One into the head where ice is made, and one into the bin where ice is stored. In the head, it's going to do a great job reducing molds and yeasts that grow inside the ice machine, making cleaning a much simpler process. In the bin, it's going to destroy bacteria like Listeria and B. cereus on the surface of ice. People think because ice is cold, it doesn't grow microbes, but ice is water. It grows lots of microbes, and if you've ever seen a busboy dip a dirty 5-gallon bucket into a bin of ice to transfer it to the Coke machine, you know exactly what we're talking about. Bacteria on ice is said to cause over half of the food poisoning cases in the United States every year. We've had a lot of success with this product, installing it in any type of food application where there's an ice machine and they bake bread. The yeast from the baking process has a habit of getting into an ice machine and causing some of the worst and most difficult to clean growth, where a unit like this installed can eliminate those yeast cells as they're entering and help minimize the amount of time needed to clean that ice machine. With this product, you can also look beyond the single use of an ice machine into any application where you want to remote mount a unit to deliver oxidizers into a small space. These have been used successfully in walk-in coolers. They've been used successfully in deli cases at a supermarket, where you mount the unit under the case, run a hose into it to kill bacteria on the surfaces of meats, helping preserve their shelf life.